Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's have some fun with an Altar Shout deck. So, let's start it off by keeping, no, actually we'll send back, well, we'll keep Harpy. We'll keep Harpy because it's Shackle and see what my opponent's playing, and we'll keep Dragon so that could level up. It is a Shout deck, so let's play into that. Nix is no help. We usually don't want to keep Altar early if we do draw it, because having Altar too early in hand is not really to our advantage. But there it is anyway. So we drew out Altar a little early. So that's kind of a dead card until we could get to 5 Magicka and like use a ring with a creature on the field. So that's the whole thing with Altar of Despair. It's really about getting on the field and taking advantage of it. Depending on how aggressive your opponent might be playing, that actually might be pretty hard. But we're going to go ahead and play out Spymaster right here.
Swiftly.
So Spymaster works quite well with Altar decks because of the fact that you could go ahead and use Altar, sacrifice Spymaster, draw the creature from your deck, and then get another creature from the last grass ability of Spymaster. Necromancer is my only creature at cost 6, so I know if I use Altar and have it activate all the way up to 6, Necromancer will automatically come out. That's the thing about Altar. You want to make sure that you know, or at least have a decent idea of the cards that you will be drawing out. And seeing as my opponent is not playing very many cards, I am actually very much thinking that my opponent might be playing a control deck as well. As we're about to go into playing into Altar right now, we're going to go ahead and activate Dragon, get our health back up. My opponent could be playing into a card like Golden Saints. Golden Saints, by having extra health, could be playing into Undying Dragon, having the 30 health.
Fresh meat.
We're not sure yet. So give all friendly guards. There are no friendly guards, so that doesn't matter. And I know for a fact the possible cards that I could be getting right now from Altar. That's very key. So right now, the only cards I could get is the Listener, which is a legendary card that shuffles 3 lethal creatures, 1/1s into my deck, or Word Wall. Those are the only 1-cost cards in my deck. If it's Word Wall, it's not the best because I won't have any shots in my hand. And the odds are it will be Word Wall because there's 3 copies of Word Wall compared to there being only 1 Listener. But as is a Shout deck, I'm okay with that. And Word Wall is perfectly fine as a guard right now, or something, a material that I can use to sacrifice on the following turn. Now, my opponent is playing a deck that definitely would have removal, so I would not be surprised. Okay, there is Golden Saint. So I'm not too surprised by this. So this is something I was saying, like, I kind of feel that my opponent's going to be playing Saint. So that does happen right there. So my opponent should end their turn here, allowing me to play into Nix. So with me being able to play into Nix right now, I am actually going to shackle you. Pop this one. You. Give me card draw. Grab this down at 8.
Vile canker blossom.
So the reason why I want these 2 here, these 2 could be materials, like I said, for Altar of Despair. If my opponent's gonna get rid of Nix right here, at least I'll be able to Nix. The Golden Saint, because it's a guard, is more of a threat compared to, Commander. You could use Illusionist to activate Golden Saint's effect again. So it's very good to me to get rid of that. So it deals the 1 damage, effective. So now this is no use to me in the current sense. My opponents actually should attack here. Yes, that's the correct move. I have Black Hand Messenger in this deck. The 3 here is not bad. But I am going to... Let me see if I can do this a little better. Actually, we'll just clear field.
More confound you.
Reason. Sit out here. And waste time slowly coming back. Let's just clear field, gain health. We have late game cards. We have the experiments in hand. Once we start getting out Blood Magic Lords and some of those higher level cards. So now we're on turn 4 here.
Child's play.
My opponent is definitely going to be playing a guard heavy deck. Absolutely no question about that. Alright, so coming from the graveyard, I could get back Shrieking Harpy.
Mistakes were made.
There's a bunch of different things I could get right now, but...
Vile canker blossom.
Get our shouts, the vitality there.
Feel the power
Here.
within you.
And once this dies, then I could get back Necromancer over here. It's been a while since I've actually done like a deck build with a live gameplay. But I figured we'd just do it right now for today, as Altar was specifically requested by you guys in the community, and some of you guys know how it works, so I want to show you. Okay, so I didn't even explain it. So for Altar now, I did explain it, but for Altar, so I have 5 costs on my next activation, so I know which 5 cost cards I have in my deck. My 5 cost cards are Thorn Histmage, and I forgot her name, but that creature that oh my god, that creature that shuffles 3 cards of action back into your deck. So that she's what's in my deck right now. So Thorn Histmage. So I actually already actually let's do this first. Let's see what I'll get. If I get Thorn Histmage, okay, nope, I'll get her. So it depended on what I got. So Therana, man, I'm probably saying the name 100% incorrectly. So here we go. We use Drain Vitality. Shuffles 3 copies of that in my deck. Then we're going to use, as much as I want Lightning Bolt, and Lightning Bolt is still technically the correct card, having 3 copies of these to being able to copy my creatures, I think is a little bit more valuable.
Are you listening to me? You better be.
So...
Are you listening to me?
Because that gives me more creatures I could use Altar with. And I can always use Lightning Bolt on the following turn. So why you'd technically want Lightning Bolt is because of the prophecy value of Lightning Bolt. My opponent could use Unstoppable Rage, Dawn's Wrath to wipe out this whole entire right lane at the moment. So with all that being possibilities, it's like it's a risk doing this. As much as it's a good card, she could potentially be... Remember, she's filling my deck up with actions. Because my card count is going back up. But my next card to draw out, like I said, is Necromancer. So for a fact, I'll get out a Necromancer. And with Necromancer, I can summon back some of these creatures from my graveyard, like Greybeard Mentor, to draw out some pretty powerful cards. So we have Giant here. Giant could be a Rage coming up.
For honor and glory.
My opponent definitely is going to attack. There'll be like no reason not to attack.
Attack.
I don't think they should break a rune, but they might want to get the match over as quickly as possible. Okay. So, like how I know my next card is Necromancer. The question becomes, what do I want to get back from the graveyard, and how do I want to play this? Alright, so I could play Necromancer here. That'll give me 6 cards, and I have 10. Right.
Rise, my
son. Necromancer play. So it gives me 5 plus 3.
The Black Hand sees all.
Then sacrifice this. Alright.
The Black Hand sees all.
3.
Now, where was I? Where was I? Yes. Oh, yes.
That's what, I'm not sure if that's what you guys would pull off, but I mean, that's a. I mean, what you guys think? Isn't that a pretty, you know, kind of crazy combo right there? Look how many I just shuffled freaking 9 lightning bolts into my deck, like 9. It's kind of a crazy, you know, deck situation there. All things to alter. I mean, like I said, I could have played Greybeard Mentor, used Greybeard Mentor to get back my shouts, and because this is technically a shout deck, like I said, I am playing Ward. I don't play, you know, don't play the shout that revives creatures. I wanted more for control ability. Yes, being able to revive creatures would be great, but I have Necromancer to do that, and we have, you know, we have experiments to get more Necromancers, and we have other cards to shuffle more creatures into our deck. So here we are, we're facing off against a Manticore. Super powerful creature right here for sure. Next, we have 7 costs on Altar.
Behold
As we know that
power.
Altar at 7
Behold my power.
is 100%
Where was
Nix.
Oh,
We'll
yes.
go ahead and do this here for Nix. So with Nix coming out, play this out here. We don't really have to worry about. I actually don't want to fill my deck up with Drain. I don't want to do it. Let's just play a bunch of powerful creatures. We'll keep these until we have something specific, because my opponent's hand is very much full of creatures. Like I said, there's Dawn's Wrath. There's plenty of ways to. Well, my opponent's not gonna play Dawn's Wrath. Not
Awaiting your command. Awaiting your command.
A card like Trooper. They're playing the Untouchable. Is Untouchable the 1,000? No, Unvanquished. I forgot which one is 1,000 wins. Is Untouchable? Man, I've been playing this game so long that I get confused on the titles. But whatever it is, it might be Untouchable, where you win 1,000 matches. Man, how many matches must I have played in this game at this point? Like, it gotta be tens of thousands? It really might be. Like, it's years. Like, if you play something for years, each match could be anywhere from 5 minutes being an aggro deck, or 3 minutes being an aggro deck on some of my videos you've seen. And then I've had 20 to 30 minute. I've had 30-minute matches even on channel and during streams. Some of those crazy decks back in the day, you know, using some crazy Necromancer type moves, and just like me and my opponent just keep on countering each other controls. I'm sure you guys played 2 control decks, just sit there forever taking time to go. But I think this demonstration so far is at least an interesting showcase of what Altar can do. You just have to build your deck correctly to draw out the cards that you know. Like, as you saw, I made sure once I hit turn 6 magic that I know what cards for a fact are going to be drawn out with Altar. It's going to be Necromancer. It's going to be Nix.
Zen
you know,
provides.
my next card after Nix and Necromancer, 8 Magicka, is going to be
The spirit of his glamour goes with
what's her
us.
name? Damn it! The girl that draws cards, but it doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and
Behold
do this
my
right here.
power.
By the egg of
Let me just see
fire.
if I can get her. Yeah, there she is. So I knew it was going to Eclipse Baroness. So it was going to be Eclipse Baroness. So that she was the next card. So I remember her name. So that's what you got to do with this card. Just draw it exactly what you know is coming. So yep, there you go, guys. I'm right back. I just realized I played that match, but I didn't actually show you guys the deck build. So yeah, here we are. Cruel Firebloom. This Altar, plain and simple. You requested it, you got it. We got 45 creatures, 27 actions, 0 items, 3 supports, 9 prophecy. Now, when you're making an Altar deck, and I made a few different ones, some of the ones I made were specifically made to have only 2 attributes and 50 cards, because you still got to get Altar to be drawn to use it by putting 15 extra cards and going up to, you know, 75, not even 15, sorry, 25 extra cards going, that you have to filter through those cards to get alter. But when you're playing cards like Eclipse Baroness, when you're playing cards like the lovely Telvanni, so she has the ability to draw 2 cards. When you're playing Thieves Guild Recruit, you have ways to filter throughout your deck, and playing into those cruel Fireblooms or playing Altar to sacrifice it to draw out those cards. You're going to be able to stay in control using the Reverberating Strike, using Word Wall with Drain Vitality, using out Dragon Aspect. Yes, once again, like I am not, and I don't feel like it, and I don't feel like the deck needs it. I really, really do not feel like the deck needs the shout for somehow new players playing this. Does not need Soul Tear. I don't feel like this deck needs Soul Tear, so I just didn't feel like adding it to the deck. I just felt like there's enough ways to get creatures from the graveyard that are low cost. I'm not really trying to get a Blood Magic Lord by discarding into the graveyard. I'm not trying to use one of my favorite cards these days. I'm not even trying to do the classic strategy with Defiler, using Defiler with Smash the Wimpy. I'm not trying to do Night Town Lord with that. It's just, I'm not trying to steal other people's creatures. That's not how we're trying to play this. We're trying to use those blood magic spells with blood magic Lord. You know, that's the win condition here. It's blood magic Lord is overall making copies of that with Diver Experiment. And I'm not going past 10 Magicka with Altar. This deck is not really there to play out till you have 12 full Magicka with Altar. Yes, at 10 you could get out something like Grey Singer. You could potentially get out like a Hulkin. You could get out there's not really much. Like, I don't feel like the 10 cost creatures are worth it to have anything in there with Altar to take that much advantage. I would prefer to play 2 Altars and start cycling through some of my lower cost creatures and getting the value out from those. So this is how I set up this Altar deck. I've seen all the other Altar decks wants to come out to like it could summon an 11 cost creature or a 12 cost creature, but that's just not how this deck is specifically formatted. That's just not how this one is played out, and it's worked out quite well. I'm sure you guys saw what I was able to pull off by using Therana, making the copies here, using the lightning, you know, using all that stuff. But yeah, let's get back into all the cards. So the concept here was quite simple, quite simple. Listener, you usually want listeners to be out there early in the game. So if you get this in your first hand, play this out, because by the time you get the Altar Despair, the moment the first creature you sacrifice, it's going to be one of those Brotherhood Assassins that's going to come out. Word Wall is a guard, and it's a pretty decent guard, especially if you're playing in an item deck, for 1 cost, with the ability to make shouts get powered up. So I like Word Wall. It's one of those cards I made sure I got right away. Oops. I got right away as a premium. Nope, go back. Crap. Accidentally got one of the cards. Let's go back. So I like Word Wall in this. I like Word Wall a lot. Spymaster is one of the cards I add in this RNG. So this is a card I actually do say you could take out. If you want to make your deck a little bit more consistent, you could take out a card like Spymaster and find something that you would want, or another action you want to add in its place. Because the thing about this deck, if you guys have noticed, the 27 actions are in here for a very good reason. The actions are in between the creatures. This is actually what made making this deck actually so kind of hard for me, is because you have to be so knowledgeable off the deck. You have to know the cards that you're possibly going to get out Altar for the cost. And with that being said, you don't want to put in creatures in there that you might get out of Altar accidentally and not going to be valuable to you. So you want those creatures to hit the field, either have a great instant summon effect, or have an effect with their last grass. Because once Fighter Guild's Recruit hits the field, has an effect. Shrieking Harpy, Shackle. Thieves Guild Recruit, Draw. Blackhand Messenger, its summons deal 2 damage, and its last grass of effect deals 2 damage. So you have a ways to get advantage out of those cards the moment they get pulled out. If this gets pulled out of Altar, boom, you get 3 more creatures. Goblin doesn't have an effect technically once it hit the field, so usually I don't want this coming out from Altar. But if it does come, so be it. But once Goblin does go ahead and Pilifers, getting those cruel Fireblooms that you could go ahead and use on cards like Spymaster, use on cards like, you know, right here, Telvanni, then that's what Goblin's effect really is important. Having that 5 damage for 0 cost is super useful. Reverberating Strike, once again, it's a filter card to make sure that I didn't add a creature that could accidentally be drawn, and it's a good card to make it control. So in a way, this is not just an altar deck. This is a control deck. It's an altar deck, you know, like that. It's a bunch of different concepts mixing together, and that's why I think so many players don't play altar. It is a complex strategy type of deck to put together, and there's so many different ways to do it. It's not a concept that could work with one type of deck. An altar could be put into many decks. It's all about building your decks around and drawing the creatures when you want it. It's not that, oh, altar could only be this attribute. Altar could be in a red deck, control deck. It could be in so many different types of deck. It could even be in, I can't say really super aggro decks, but you know, like if you're playing aggressive red, but you have it that you could play longer, you could play altar in there, as long as you make sure that the creatures you're drawing out with altar is coming out at the proper time, and you have a good knowledge of what those creatures are going to be. But I'll keep going. A Greybeard is there to draw out the shouts. Like I said, lightning bolts is lightning bolts. This is to draw out those 0 cost cards once you either get Therana activated, or if you just want to draw experiment early to use it with Blood Magic Lord or Nix. I'm sure we've all seen me do it before. You know, this with Nix could just have crazy combos, or with Necromancers right there. Thorn Histmage is Thorn Histmage. This card is simply great. Like, I mean, long time staple, dual attribute cards, easy ramp, and it gets summoned right back from Necromancer. So this is this is one of those cards that was hard for me to actually decide to keep, because as good as it is, there was another options for control that could have been better, and it was Leaf Lurker. So I was like, man, Leaf Lurker could have been a really good replacement for Thorn Histmage at the 5 cost. And these are the concessions you're going to have to make for when you're playing an altar deck. Is like, which is the, like, you couldn't, other decks you would have both. You would have Thorn Histmage and you would have Leaf Lurker. But I'm like, I do not want to accidentally get out a Leaf Lurker or Thorn Histmage when I want one or the other. I want to have a good confidence it's either going to be Thorn Histmage or Therana. Therana is a better card than both of those cards because of her effect, as long as you have the actions to take advantage of her. So she's going to be in there as a unique card, and there's only one of her. But Thorn Histmage as a guard could save my life. Yes, Leaf Lurker could do the same if there's a creature on the field that has been, you know, hurt. Any creature that has been, you know, health, it could remove it. It'd be like almost like a javelin, and that becomes a creature from out of Altar of Despair. But you have to hope that there's a creature on the field on the opponent's side that's happened to, and that you actually want to remove in that way. So that's why in the end I decided that Leaf Lurker, as good as it could be, I think Thorn Histmage is actually the better option for this deck currently. Now, if I was playing a deck that had a lot of creatures like Witch, like Murkwater Witch, or playing a deck that had a creature like Murkwater Shaman generating those curses, where I know a lot of my opponent's creatures would be hurt, where then I could take advantage of Leaf Lurker. That's where, once again, if you're playing an altar deck, you could incorporate this card in your deck and then take advantage of it with Leaf Lurker and altar. For me, Thorn Histmage is a little bit better. I'm not playing a ramp deck, but it is a ramp card, but I like it for more than just being ramp. I like it that it's a card that gets powered up every single time you get Magicka, and it can be returned back from Necromancer, and its cost is very balanced. Ice Storm is there for aggro deck. If you're going to be playing against token decks, you're going to need something like aggro, like Ice Storm, to get rid of them. Necromancer, you guys saw the video. Necromancer is beastie. Then we got Spirit Knife. Spirit Knife is removal, and it's high cost removal, but it does a lot of damage as well and draw cards. So the drawing the cards and removal at the same time. Ancano, good 8-drop. I incorporated it with Eclipse Baroness. Once again, either one of these cards coming out at 8 is going to be somewhat useful. Ancano could help you win the game in the right situation, but this is something else you want to be careful of. You don't want to have Altar in there and drawing out into nothing. You don't want to draw into no cards. So I just didn't want Ancano to be the only card in there at 8, and then me having a situation where, like, I already drew out Ancano and it wasn't my only. Eclipse Baroness is a really good card to give me keep cards in my hand as a control deck. Partially, then I like keeping cards in my hand. Blood Magic Lord, as you guys saw, it does what it does. Experiment, big copies of your creatures. So yeah, that's how I played it out, guys. Let me know what you guys think of the deck. Once again, here's the stats right here. It's very high on the 2-cost creatures, then runs up and high in the 13 for 7 and above, and then 3. So yeah, but once you hit down to 5 and 6 and going from there, it's fairly balanced out. It's been Beaky here with the Untitled Game Show. Glad to be able to do a request video, guys, for you in the community. I'll be back once again. Till next time. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And, oh yeah, what do you think about me doing live gameplay for the deck builds? Like I said, in the past, when I do mobile videos, I usually do them very quick edit videos because it's on the go on my phone. But here I'm at my desktop, so and it's 1 a.m. I had some time to actually sit here, talk to you guys, and make an actual gameplay match video while doing the deck build. Peace out.